Hello everyone, I'm back with another video, and today we are going to do an episode 2 of coloring in with alcohol-based markers. So, enough of the chit-chat and small talk, let's get on with the video. Okay, so in episode 2, we're going to learn how to color in blood and clothing. Yes, we're gonna learn how to color in blood and clothing. So let's get on with it. Okay, so firstly, we're going to learn how to color in the blood. Okay, so usually for blood, I use a few colors. Be sure to pick only the red ones. If you want, you can also use lighter, like for light tones. You can also use pinkish colors, but I would recommend that you don't. Sometimes you can get a bit off track and look a little bad. You just need 4 colors. Again, you need R2 vermilion, R3 coral red, R2 old red, and R8 uranium. So let's start first using the lightest tone. Suppose the lightest tone, which is R2. Okay, R2. So when I color in blood, I apply a base layer. Then I put in the dark colors on top of the base layer and then blend it out. Since in this part the blood is also blending in. Basically, it's kind of looking like it's soaked in the metal. You also have to show that. To show that the blood blend out, so the flicking technique is do the flicking technique. Okay, and that's it. Just do the flicking technique. Just try the flick technique. It'll work out. This clothes is a bit different because in clothes blood will get soaked in. So I just do the same. I just use a flick method. Okay, next we're going to use R3 coral red. That's a bit darker. Okay, a bit darker tone. Use that for the places inside, a bit inside. You need to go a bit darker, heavy darker, in the clothing. Let's use R7. That's a very drastic change. How drastically the color changed. Right? So here, more on this. So let's say the blood blended in. And I just blend out. Blend everything out. Remember, the one key to coloring an alcohol-based marker is to know when and how to blend things out. When it's blending out nicely, that's when you know it's gonna come out right. Okay? That looks great. And if you want to, you can also use a bit geranium. Like just a bit darker. Actually, it's more of a mid-tone. Geranium is more of a mid-tone. R8 is the darkest tone of blood. It's the darkest red tone. So I use R on to part 2, and since the blood thing is entirely completed in this, and I pretty much see how it was done. So right now, let's go on to part 2, which is coloring in the clothing. My coloring in clothing can be a bit tricky since, in this case, it's kind of simple. I just need to use. Okay, so if you're coloring in white clothing, you just need grays. Now, for example, since this is entirely white, it's more cool. I have to give it more cooler look. So I'll use cool grays, like CGs. If I want to give it more warm tone, then I'll use warm grays, or WGs. If I want to give it a more bluish look, which I don't think I would really recommend, I would use BGs, or blue grays. And if I want to give a more neutralish look, I would use neutral gray. Greenish, I would use GG. Yeah, GG. So firstly, I'm using green gray one. I think the green gray one is pretty good. The green grays, I'm pretty sure the green grays are my most used grays, aside from the really dark grays. Natural gray, gray have high tones because these grays kind of blend out nicely. The other grays, but these colors, these ones, the green grays, they actually blend out pretty nicely. The neutral grays. I kind of prefer to use them in the beginning stage. So be sure to apply shading where the light isn't going to hit the clothing, and on the spots where there's wrinkles, where the clothing is wrinkling. Okay, so so where the wrinkles appear, you have to add shadows, and like that. And you have to also be aware of where the light source is coming from. The reason this light source is coming from around there. My lights, my shadows are more heading towards here. Shadows are going more toward here. See? But since my shadows are my highlight, since my light source is over here, my shadows will go on the opposite side of that. Now, this is why I use the grays come in, like G come in. Okay, so this will kind of blend nicely. Blend it nicely. First I use this, then I use a CG2. And I just apply that over the GGs. Apparent tone, I think. Have a better tone to even CGs. Prefer to use cool gray. See? Cooler tone. It's really most like a lot of people would better favor this tone. Blender, which basically just blends the colors. Which will help me blend this color to white. Yes, the colors. If you have the colorless blender, just so you know, this isn't actually used to blend two colors together. This is actually used to either make colors fade to white, okay, or help push colors back inside a certain space. This tool isn't for the use of blending. It's actually used for pushing colors in and blending all colors to white. Forgot the colors better. See? Blend colors to white. Darker tones of the GG. Right now I'm going to use GG3. Darker. Sometimes it's okay to use, harsh lines, like harsh straight lines, but you have to blend it out. There, that's the only thing. You have to blend it out. It's okay to use harsh lines. You just have to remember to blend everything out. Nicely blend everything out. Blend everything out. That's the key rule. Coloring alcohol-based markers. Blend everything out. Also, I would prefer to use, if you're coloring in with grays, at least 3 tones. That'll make the coloring better. Help it look more like it's actually existing, not just floating in space. I use very harsh lines. See, that creates more dynamic. That creates very dynamic lighting. Okay, right? Doesn't it? It creates very dynamic lighting, and that's great. Lighting plays a very important key role in a drawing. Really, light plays a very important role. Like, for example, if this drawing doesn't have light, if I didn't have an idea where this light would be coming from, would this drawing look that good? Seriously, would the color version really look this? The clothing, okay, so I'm not gonna lie though, the clothing actually looks fantastic. Like, goddamn. That looks good. Legit. That looks very good. Okay, either way. Yeah. That was coloring in the clothing. But now let me show you something. Okay, so for instance, take this drawing. I had to color in this clothing piece. So, firstly, I decide where the light is. For me, the light is from there. So, my light source is coming from here, and the color of this object is blue. So, first I find out the lightest blues, which is, for me, BG4 mint blue, BG60, and then the darkest blue that I can use, which is PB11, marine blue, PB11, marine blue, and then all the midtones. For example, BG68. Here, hold on a second. BG68. BG68. I can also use BG5. BG205. See these four colors? Look how I'm gonna color. So where the light source is coming from, that spot will obviously be the lightest. So first I start from lightest. In this instance, I will start from the lightest. Lightest tones, okay? Lightest tones. Okay. Now the second lightest tones, create partial shadows, or actual shadows. Use this blue as a intermediate color. Then use BG5, which is actually a pretty dark color. Intermediate to the place where light isn't hitting at all. Okay? Hitting at all. And then use PB11, green blue, to create the darkest places. Now, remember the flick technique. Use the flick technique. Okay. First, I just lay down the base tones first. Okay. Then, if I need more intermediate colors, to blend these two, then I'll bring more intermediate colors and even apply, the intermediate color to the light tones. I'll introduce that color as a base tone in here so that this color looks more relatable. More relatable to the first. Okay? After that's done, then I'll work on the shadows. See, okay, so now this is done. We'll use the lightest color and blend. Okay. And for example, here I need more intermediate colors. So for intermediate colors, I'll bring in India Blue BG64 and a transition. Vibrant blue, I can also entirely replace that color. Coloring clothing sometimes can be very chaotic, since you have to apply the many colors one over the other, but it is very easy once you get the hang of it. And okay, so just keep watching where the colors need an improvement, or where you may need to change the colors. I changed this tone, these tones, and look at that. That created a more subtle look. That's not subtle, very chaotic look. That doesn't look really blended in. I remember the base tone technique. The base tone technique works very well. In cases like this, the base tone technique works very well. I also use the flick technique a lot. So the flick technique is the very basis of blending. Alcohol based markers. The flick technique is the very basis of the way I color in. You can always feel free to change the colors. If you have to, you can always change the color to a more suitable tone. Like I have here, I changed a lot of the colors to a more suitable tone so that it can blend in better and look better as a whole. So that is how you can color in clothing. And also, be sure to do this if you have a very thin, like for example, if I'm using this a blue pen, very light texture. Like if you're working on a very big scale, right, you can also try using this technique. Basically, to control its texture with a very light hand. Start cross hatching on the clothes with a very, very light hand, or else it'll end up like this with a very, very light hand. So they're very, very faint lines. Very, very faint lines. You just need to make very faint lines like this here, and that gives kind of a clothing texture. Also, if you want and you're up to the challenge, you can also use a white gel pen and make individual dottings. If you're up to the challenge, you can also do that. Though the way that I recommend, which is cross hatching, that method is better because it takes a lot less time. So yeah. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that is enough for episode 2 of how to color in using alcohol markers. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.